many know the usher deserve a day to sit down, a day to be recognized, a day to be set aside that we might truly show the appreciation that they deserve. Amen. I find our theme today being ushers exemplifying God's character. Amen. And if you're exemplifying God's character, you know you're exemplifying love. So if you go with me to 1 John 4, 7, and 9. Those are our scriptures on today. What can we say about our ushers? Amen. The ones who are always on the post. Amen. And I think 1 John says the best. Chapter 4, verses 7 through 9. It reads, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. And everyone that loveth is born of God, and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. In this was manifested the love of God towards us, because that God sent His only begotten Son into the world that we might live through Him. So reads the scripture. Amen. The word of God is blessed. We thank God this afternoon for being yet in the house of prayer to give a inspirational message to our ushers. Amen. Exemplifying God's character. According to the scripture, beloved, let us love one another, because God is love. Amen. I don't believe an usher would be on their post if they didn't understand that God is love. Because sometimes the way we would greet an usher, they would have to have a whole lot of love down on the inside. But what is an usher? An usher is someone that escorts, someone that guides. An usher is an attendant. An usher is someone that ushers people to the seat, like an escort. Kind of like, you know, when you go into a movie house and there's an usher that will usher you down the aisle with a flashlight that you might make it safely to your seat. The ushers here on their post, they don't have a flashlight, but they are the light or they are the eye to usher you to a place of comfort when they usher you to your seat. They guide you because they want to guide you to the right seat. Because maybe you may think you ought to be sitting in one place and they may know a better seat for you. Because maybe your attitude or your personality is one way and they might be able to sit you next to somebody that might guide you into their spiritual application that we're in. They're attendants. That means they attend and they pay attention to the service. They're attendants. They don't leave their post after they have ushered you in, or after they have guided you to their seat. They now have to attend the service. They're attending. They got to be watchful as they're standing on their post. They're ushers. This is what they do. But they do it because they love God and they understand that God is love. Because sometimes the usher has to usher you when you don't want to be ushered. Sometimes the usher has to escort you when you don't want to be escorted. Sometimes the usher has to constantly attend what's going on in the service because they sometimes can't get involved into the service because they have to attend to different matters that's going on in the service, like some of us chewing gum. But the ushers will come with love with a soft piece of paper and just kindly ask you, please, may I have your gum? The usher will escort us and they will show us. An usher's conduct is always that of godliness. Their conduct has to be pleasing because they are the first line of defense, in my opinion, for those coming in. If I come into the church house and the usher's face is long, I may have to think about if I want to go and take that seat because the usher is the first one that I'm going to see. So they conduct, they have a direct conduct to the spirit of things that's going on. And so they lead us. You know, just as Christ leads us into the way of spirituality, the ushers lead us into the service so that we might be led into what Christ is. The ushers hurl sometimes us into new methods of understanding. Because if you know an usher, and if you understand what they go through while they're ushering, then you understand why they do what they do. John speaks of the beloved. He says, beloved, let us love one another, for love is God. You can't do a service job or a service position without having love. Because you will find yourself resorting back to self and sometimes not completing the task that's given you to do. You are to escort and to guide and to attend. But you're here today to be exemplification of who God is. So if God is love and we're standing on our post and we're not exemplifying the love of God, then how are we exemplifying or showing or being that example that the scripture is calling us to be? God is love. So therefore we must work with the love in our hearts and in our minds as we serve the people. Exemplifying. What does exemplify mean? To exemplify with an impassionate painting. The usher must paint a passionate picture to you when they usher you into the service. They must have passionate feelings about what's going on in their service, that they can paint a picture for you that you don't even realize that they're painting. Because the usher is the first one that you're going to see. And so what you see might be what you get, so to speak. But the usher is the first one that you're going to see. They typify the service. The usher greets you with attentiveness. The usher will greet you with love. They epitomize the very existence of love because they have to understand that God is love. And if God is love, this is what they are exemplifying. They must be examples of love. Scripture says, with brotherly love, what? Love one another. Some of us don't like being loved on. So we go to our seats begrudgingly. But yet the usher loves you all the way until you are seated. The ushers are a representation of holiness. The ushers personify and embody and illustrate what love is. Because the usher has to stand on her post, understanding, he or she understanding while the services are going on and wanting to get caught up in the spirit and wanting to go along and run with everybody else. But they understand out of love, they have to be watchful for you. They have to be mindful of what's going on in the service while being in the service. So sometimes while you think ushers might be standing around doing nothing, they're actually guarding you as you worship during your service. They pay attention to the pastor. They have signals. You know, some of you stand around and you get hot and you do one of these. Just think if the usher didn't know what none of this meant. Just think if the usher didn't know what this meant. Just think if the usher, you stand up there doing this. What's wrong with that person? But the usher has to understand they know what it is that they have to do, and so they make themselves abreast to the chores in which they have to do. So they understand the signal. They understand when the lady does this, you got to sit them down. They understand. So they understand when you come in here with an attitude. They understand when you might come in here that you may have gone through something all week. So the usher is the one that's going to try to release you of some of that tension when you first come into the door. So they're going to greet you with a godly smile. They're going to speak to you with godly kindness. They're going to walk you to your seat with a passionate face so that you can understand you're walking into the spirit where God is, and the ushers are the one that's going to usher you in. The ushers are the one that says to you, this is the right place to be in this morning. Even though you were on your way here, you might have had some incidents on your way. You know, one of them drivers that might have cut you off. You might have been all up here, but as soon as that car cut you off and made you do something other than what you was willing to do, you might have lost it. And so you might have got here with a frown on your face instead of a smile on your face. But the usher standing at the door, she understands that love covers the multitude of faults. They're going to love on you when you first come through. Some ushers ought to be on the other side of the door. So that when you walk in with all of your cares of the world and you see an usher and they're smiling and they're ready to greet you and usher you in, then you'll understand why you're in the presence of God, because that usher allowed herself to be used by God, be a servant of God, show the love of God that's down within them, that service might what? They went on smoothly. See, while you sitting in your seat, you don't know what's going on behind you. You don't know that the usher just got off the wall and she had to go and get one of your children. And you're cheering. that's running around, not paying attention to service. But with love, the usher will go get your child, sit your child down, and be kind to your child that you might be able to what? Enjoy the service. It's a good thing that the ushers have a day to sit down because they are exemplifying godliness. And this character that they're exemplifying today is the love of God. It's the peace of God. It's the joy of God. How many of you love being a servant? I remember when I first got saved and received my letter of eldership, the first thing they told me to do, and I know all y'all done heard it, what did they tell you? Go clean the toilets. Because you don't know nothing yet. You're just a servant. But you won't know how to serve until you learn how to be humble. If you don't think the ushers are humble, then I don't know where you're going to find a more humble spirit than in the usher. Because the usher has to put up with everything that's going on inside the church, but yet be tentative to the pastor's need, be attentive to the first lady's need, be attentive to the speaker's need, be attentive to your needs while you're sitting and crying and tearing in the Holy Ghost and trying to get what you need. There she is with the towel, or there she is with the sheet to keep you covered. So the ushers are exemplifying that very love of God that we might be able to share abroad that same love that God gave to us. Sister Vicky spoke this morning, in the name of Jesus and Jesus only, every knee shall bow. But Jesus came because of love. His Father loved us so much that he sent his Son. His Son loved us even that much more that he gave his life. He loved us even greater than that he said, I'm going to go to my Father, I'm going to send you another comforter, that while you are in the midst of this hot service, you can still love somebody. You can still take the time to recognize that love covers a multitude of folks. Love will make this heat cool off. Love will put a smile on your face when you don't want to smile. Love says, I will go an extra mile because I love you. I care for you. I want to be a servant for you. The poem said, I'd rather be. Pastor Peter always said, if I just make it in at the door, if I'm the last one, as long as I make it in. But how many of you want to make it in to be the servant? How many of you want to come down and clean the church? How many of you want to pick up after church is over? This is what ushers do. This is what ushers do. Even a young usher, the ones that are in training, the only way they're going to learn how to exemplify godliness, they have to watch the ushers before them. They have to watch the elders and the evangelists and the preachers before them, or else how are they going to know how to act? But this is why the ushers have taken this time to sit still, take a moment, do their little march. I would have preferred y'all to march that because y'all needed a day of rest. But this is what the ushers do, they march. They still on their post, yet they still desire to march for us, to keep us entertained but not entertained. Characteristic is a quality that's essential. The characteristic of God is love, and it is an attribute, it's a feature, it's a trait, it's a property. It's something that you must own. You can't just hold it today and discard it tomorrow. You have to own it. It has to become your property. You have to own the love. You can't borrow it. You have to own it. It has to become your property. The love of God has to be down inside of us. And this is what an usher has. The ushers own the love that God has put in them because they stand their post. Sister Sandy said she may not always smile, but the compassion and the love that she has allows her to still what? Stand her post. The passion and the love that you have allows you to stand there when the people don't want to go the direction that you want them to go. The compassion and the love that God has given you down on the inside allows you to what? Stand your post. If you ever notice anyone who had came up from the ranks, from the usher on up, they stand their post. They're still standing their post. If they went from an usher to a deacon to a minister to an elder, or from an usher to an evangelist to whatever, they stand their post. But they learn at the door how to stand their ground. They learn how to exemplify that which God has called them to do. And the characteristic that they display it in is love. Faith, hope, and charity. But the greatest of the three is love. And if I had 10,000 tongues and spoke eloquently and was able to mesmerize you, I would rather lose all of that just to have the charity yours. The characteristic is love. God, character. Godly character. And don't get me wrong, how many of y'all like tough love? How many of y'all like tough love? When you don't want to hear it. When you know you're going to somebody in your face telling you and you don't want to hear it. That's the love that you really need to grab a hold of. Because that's the love that's going to make you stand when you don't want to stand. That's the love that peels off that idiosyncrasy that you don't have, that's not godly character, that you don't need. But tough love. When you acting unruly and somebody comes like an usher and says, excuse me, baby. Excuse me, baby. Or would you mind moving over so I know, baby. Just slide over just one seat. There's a way to do anything. There's always a way to treat somebody. And according to the scripture, it's with love. Jesus said with love and kindness. Have I told you? With love and kindness. So if the usher comes to you and says, baby, would you mind sliding over? Don't get up and get out and know that thing slide. Just slide over. Obedience is very simple. It's simple. It was a simple direction. But sometimes we don't want to. But the usher, regardless of how you feel about what she asked you, her smile has to stay the same. She has to walk back to her seat, still just smiling. She has to, because the next person that comes through the door is going to want to smile. The next person, because your attitude can't change the usher's attitude, because somebody else is going to come through the door. What are they going to do? They're going to change the characteristics of God because of you? God forbid. Because the next person needs to be treated with love. It's not, what that old thing that cliche, it's not about us, but it's for real. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about God. And if we're not simplifying God's character trait in the midst of God's people, and especially amidst visitors, we're missing the mark. But I guarantee you, here at the Haven, the ushers understand. I've never been lost without love. Y'all been saved all your life. You can't depend on love. Prayer. The love of prayer. Somebody loved prayer enough to pray for me. And it was an usher. It was a deacon. It was a sister. It was a brother-in-law. But that brotherly love continued. In your waywardness and family members who are wayward, it's still love. If you want to get them back, love on them. They're alcoholic, that's all right, love on them. They smoke too many cigarettes, that's okay, love on them. They do too much crack like I did, love on them. Love. Because they may one day be where you are. They might be ushers. And they may say, let me show you how it's done. Because I remember when I was trapped in my sin and I was in the funk and the fire, and an usher, because how she treated me at the door, changed my life. Just a simple greeting from an usher who cared. And asked, how are you doing today? With a smile, how are you feeling today? And walked me gracefully to my seat. And then set me by somebody who she knew was going to be well understood in the spirit. And so that I can get a hold of what's going on. Sometimes I believe that ushers will lead you to sit where you think you don't need to be, but where they know you need to be. On fire to the person that's on that bench that's on fire. So maybe you need to catch hold of something. You know, maybe you need to sit to a quiet spirited person that they might minister to you with their quietness because you're too noisy. Maybe you need to sit next to somebody that has a sweet personality and just talking all kinds to you. But an usher may know these things. and direct you to that place where you can sit next to that mother who's going to love on you and care about you. The ushers understand this. That's why they exemplify the character of God. Because God is love. Who don't want to be loved? Anybody in here rather be hated than loved? Only one thing God hates, that's sin. But he don't hate the person that might be in sin, but he hates the sin. But he loves on us. Characteristics of an usher is to serve, to conduct, to escort, to be direct, to be representative, to personify, to embody, to talk with, to illustrate, to give examples, instance of illustration. The characteristics of an usher is qualified, essential. It's an attribute that speaks, it's a trait that you must own. The mannerism has to be that of godliness. Idiosyncrasies and peculiarities and the quirks that you might see that an usher might display, go along with it, because they're displaying those quirks and those idiosyncrasies or those feelings or that mannerism, because they understand, they know what love is, and so they want you to understand what love is. They want to put that love in front of you so that you can see it and that you can walk in this same love. Because it's with love that God has done all that he has done for us. It was love. They hung him high. They stretched him wide. He hung his head. For me, he died. That's what? That's love. That's love. Ushers die for us every time they're on post. Because they have to die to self. They have to die to what they think they want to do. They have to die to what they would like to do. And they have to give the service that has to be rendered because their pastor is counting on them. Their church members are counting on them. Because while you're trying to enjoy yourself, the usher is trying to make sure you have the right spiritual to be for you to enjoy your service. They're on their post. They're leading and they're guiding and they're instructing us. They're escorting us. Anybody ever been to a prom? Anybody ever been to a black tie event where you had to put on your best dress? Did you want to be escorted by a hobo? Sister, did you want to be escorted by men that look good, stood tall? And brothers, did you want to be a fine woman on your side? Well, that's the same thing. The ushers are escorting us in, and they're that fine woman. They're that handsome man. They're the ones that escort you to sit next to Jesus Christ on your pew. They're the ones that escort you next to the Spirit of God so that you can get involved in the service. They're escorting you to that place where God is. But where God is, there is love. Amen. Ushers, I applaud you. Amen. I praise you. And my heart goes out to you for the servanthood. I ask that you pray for me as I pray for you as you stand on your post.